Welcome back, Paula. I have Paula Aungier here. In your book, God's Secrets Revealed, you state that you did not believe in hell for a very long time, but now you do. And this is as a result of having experienced two nasty incidences. So, would you like to expand on that for us, please?
Yes, I didn't believe in hell or Satan for a very long time. I didn't believe in hell because I couldn't equate a loving and caring God with the idea of there being a hell. And since then, I've learned that the purpose of hell is to give people free will, because some people actually want to reject God. They actually prefer darkness to light. And this, St. Faustina says that this can plunge God into deathly sorrow when this actually happens. And I didn't believe in Satan because I thought that was a joke. I used to think that this was just like a little man with a pitchfork. I just thought it sounded ridiculous. But since I was in Medjugorje, I did experience two nasty experiences. And in saying that, I did experience many very positive experiences in Medjugorje, but I did experience two very nasty ones. And I was in my bedroom on my own when the first one happened. It was in the middle of the night. I was woken up at 3 in the morning, and I could feel this intensely horrible atmosphere in my bedroom. And when I opened my eyes, I could see this horrible creature above me. I could see him looking around my bedroom, and I just stayed still because I didn't want him to see me looking at him. And I remained silent, and I was just watching him observing my room. And then I could see him observing the corners of my bed. And then he looked right into my eyes, and we were both staring right at each other. And then suddenly he vanished. And what replaced him next was a really intense hatred towards me, and that had me confused. I didn't know what that was all about. And then a minute later, there was this noise coming from the bedroom next door, and suddenly a man burst out of his bedroom and went down into the hall and started making loads of racket in the kitchen. And then I went down to him and I asked him to be quiet, and he said to me he doesn't know what's after coming over him at all. And then I didn't tell him what had just happened to me. I just went back to bed. That was the first experience. And that produced a conflict inside me because I kind of instinctively knew it had been Satan. But then I couldn't understand that because I didn't actually believe in Satan. But then I had another nasty experience the next time I went back to Medjugorje about a year later. This time I was in my bedroom with my parents. And again, I was woken up at 3 in the morning. And the atmosphere in the bedroom was actually even worse this time. It was like a black hole trying to suck me into it like a vacuum cleaner. It was really horrible and it was very intense. And at the same time, I could see all these horrible creatures. They're like demons all around the bedroom, and snakes, and there were snakes slithering all over my body, and they're actually trying to get into my mouth. And every time they did this, a light would flash, and this would ensure I could not go back to sleep. And it went on for 3 hours, and I found it very irritating. But surprisingly, I wasn't actually afraid. And then the next morning, I was also with my father's cousin, and we were going to visit Vika, one of the visionaries. And I went to his bedroom door and knocked on it around 9 in the morning. And he opened his door suddenly, and he looked very dishevelled and very distressed. And he said to me he was actually after having the worst night of his life, even though at this time he was 78 years old. And I asked him what's after happening, and he told me that again he woke up at 3 in the morning, same time as myself, and he also felt a horrible atmosphere in his bedroom, and he could also see this horrible creature at the end of his bedroom, and it kept reappearing and disappearing, and in its place his very recently deceased wife would appear, and that really distressed him. And eventually he had to get out of bed. He found the whole experience so distressing. And then he put the light on, and he could no longer see his wife, and he didn't know what she was doing there in Medjugorje, and he could no longer see the creature either, but the horrible atmosphere persisted in his bedroom, and he just stayed up out of bed for the rest of the night. And he told me nothing like that has ever happened to him before in his whole life. And after those two experiences, then I definitely started to believe in Satan.
What age were you at this
I would
time?
say I was about, it's a long time ago now. I'm 51 now. I would say I was in my 30s, my early 30s maybe then.
Okay.
I can't really remember that.
All right. In your book, you say that you believe that the devil has the power to appear as anyone he wishes. Do you currently know anyone who might represent the devil?
The devil does have the ability to appear as anyone he chooses, but he doesn't appear permanently like that because he doesn't want people to know of his existence, so that he can actually exert an evil influence over people without them knowing, and this can cause them to behave like in a very evil way, and they wouldn't know the source of this. So I think in general there are a lot of people who might be under the influence of the devil and they actually don't know. But I'm not going to name any names that people I think who might be.
That's very diplomatic, Paula. Just one last question, one quick question. As regards the location of hell, you reference various mystics, visionaries, and saints like Saint Faustina, who indicate the actual location. What is the actual location of hell?
Yes, a lot of different saints, mystics, and visionaries of the church have actually been taken to hell by Our Lady and by God. And in fact, Saint Padre Pio, had that ability to go there himself at will. And he used to do it during different wars when the parents of soldiers would come to him to see was their son killed or not. And he would at will be able to go into these places and tell them if their son was still alive or not, because he actually wouldn't see them in heaven, hell or purgatory. And Our Lady also took the visionaries of Fatima there in 1917, and before she took them there she actually pointed to the earth. And Venerable Mary of Agreda was told by Jesus that the location of hell is the centre of the earth.
Okay, Paula, thanks again for that. Talk to you
Thanks
next
so much.
week. Cheers.